Hey everybody, welcome back for another memory keeping video. This is for the week of March 3rd through the 9th. And I'm not gonna lie, I did think about not filming this week, both because I was just using leftovers and also because I was just in a weird headspace this week, not gonna lie. So I combined some leftovers I had from a Scribble Prints Co. like sick day kit, and then also leftovers from a Cinderella Paper like mental health themed kit. So I don't know what it was about the first few months of the year. I'm still kind of in this funk right now. I think I'm just kind of burnt out after the last couple years of just feeling like always on the go, planning something or having to manage some sort of crisis. So I feel like early 2025 is just like a lot slower. I think I talked a little bit about this in my last memory keeping video, but after finishing up Clover's medical care, pretty much right after that, we got into like a bunch of travel and weddings and everything second half of last year, and then I was working a lot the second half of last year. So yeah, then the beginning of this year it's like more normal again, just like having free time, and sometimes what that results in is just me thinking about things too much. So I did bring these two kits together because they had a lot of similar kit color tones, I felt, with like the grays and the like kind of gray blues and purples, I feel. I did mix together both sets of leftover glitter headers from both kits, and I don't know how well that turned out, but honestly, I'm not gonna like look back on this week that much anyway, just because I was in that weird headspace. I also wanted to film this, first of all, because I was like at this week anyway, and like I felt like filming, so I'm like, well, might as well film it since it's the next week I'm working on in my planner. I think I filmed this like the night before we left for San Diego to go to one of my sister's college graduations. But yeah, I also wanted to film it because I wanted to talk about the movie we watched this week, which this movie turned out to be kind of a litmus test for where my mental health was because I just started kind of sobbing during this movie, and my husband was like, this isn't that sad, what is up? I'm like, I don't know, I'm just uncontrollably sad right now. So that was fun. But it was Flow, which it won at least one Oscar this year. I think it won for Best Animated Film, and it is amazing. First of all, it's a beautiful film, it's a very clever film, and it's definitely touching on some things that are very topical and like important to think about. But I just couldn't get over that the main character is this black skinny cat, and it just looked like a black cat version of my little kitten Clover, and it just sent me down a spiral of what if I wasn't around anymore, and then Clover had to like fend for herself in the world. Like she walks funny, she wouldn't be able to survive out in the wild, and it's just a really emotional movie, and it kind of sent me into an existential crisis at the end, especially. I'm not going to give anything away, of course. I do recommend you watch it, but also like just be warned, it might make you sad. Or maybe it's just me, because my husband seemed fine while watching it, but I had a bit of a breakdown. I pulled myself out of it, but it was weird. I was like, oh my god, this just showed I'm really not 100% okay right now. I feel like things have gotten better since March. I feel like after spring break, I don't know, maybe it wasn't even that cold and rainy this winter, so I don't know how it could be like seasonal affective disorder, but who knows. I just really didn't feel like I had anything exciting going on this first half of the year, but at the same time, like, I like staying home and I like being able to take time to myself, so I don't know what's up. But the 3 habit trackers in the sidebar, I was able to use a double box, which was cool. But my 3 habit trackers are for flossing, not using Instagram, because Lent started this week, Ash Wednesday was this week, and then taking vitamins, because for some reason I thought taking a gummy multivitamin from Target was going to solve everything. It didn't. I still have some of those. I didn't end up finishing the bottle. I take them every now and then, but I'm not convinced they're really doing anything. And I think the next week they like upset my stomach, or at least I thought that was what was upsetting my stomach. I don't think I got to the bottom of that either. So who knows? I was just kind of getting through this week. And then speaking of this week, the weekly sidebar sticker is for my dinners, and I'm going to pull in a this week header from another kit, like leftovers from a long time ago. So here's why I'm putting in my leftover glitter headers. I color blocked this kit when I used it last week, also during a week that was straight up not a good time, except that one was definitely when Clover was like doing very poorly. So that was a different type of stress. Like that's the thing, nothing particularly wrong is going on right now. Although there are some things that I'm just not going to talk about on the internet going on, but like, so then I say there's nothing going on that's bad, but like at the same time, I'm like, there is, I just can't like talk about it, but it's fine. Nothing like too terribly tragic. It's just life is hard. It's just hard right now. And then that doesn't even touch on the national and global scale of things, which sometimes I do have to kind of put things into perspective with that. I didn't like how the bottom washi was plain, so I brought in these silver bow headers that I think were from Rory's Sweet Addiction. I definitely got them in like a D-stash giveaway or something like that. And then that is going to be the base of this week. So there's no glitter header in the middle, but that is totally fine with me, especially for leftover weeks, especially for weeks like this where it was kind of just a blah week anyway. I did have a really good day at work on Monday. I'm not going to go into the details of this because I'm not going to violate students' privacy, but like people really opened up to me this semester, and I feel like I handled it well. So I'm proud of myself for that. It's just everything else around that was kind of a lot. So getting into Monday, the first thing I'm going to mark is going to work. So I have a teacher sticker from Sweet Davis Paper for that. And then I was doing some grading. So I'm going to mark that with a Beneva Creations girl. Also going to use another Beneva Creations girl to mark editing videos after work. And then I placed a ginormous Sweet Davis Paper sticker order this day. So I have lots and lots of little cat characters to mark things now. Because she was running I think it was like an 80% off sale to just clear inventory because she's closing her shop. Her shop might be closed at this point, but you can always double check and see. So I'm going to mark the Sweet Ava's Paper order, not weirdly enough with a Sweet Ava's Paper sticker, but with a Molly from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. And I think the same artist who draws the animals for Sweet Ava's Paper draws Molly, if I remember correctly. I forget where I picked up that tidbit, probably from one of Tanya's videos, but yeah, I guess it's the same artist, I think. And then I marked my good work day with just like handling students well, at least in my opinion, or at least it seemed like they were handled, with another Beneva Creations girl. And then for all of the television this week, sorry, I'm going to just use a Sweet Ava's Paper sticker. This particular evening, I was catching up on Tasting History, which is a YouTube channel that I really enjoy. Tuesday, it was Mardi Gras, so I marked that with an icon from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. And then I was just having a lot of health anxiety. This is still kind of going on. I have a doctor's appointment. It's gonna be fine. I don't know why I'm like worried about my age and like everything's just like scaring me lately, and there's no particular reason why. I just maybe don't have enough to worry about, or I'm just kind of blowing things out of proportion. I'm not sure. Anyway, so the 3 stickers at the top are from Sweet Ava's Paper. So I was having my health anxieties, I worked out, and then I was filming a plan with me. Then at the bottom of the day, I marked reading my book for this week, which was The Moonstone. I was still working on that. So I have this Molly like classic novels sheet, and that one is Little Kittens, which I thought worked well for reading a 19th century novel. I was real annoyed about something this night, so I'm not going to go into it, but that's from Sweet Ava's Paper, and then that script is from Leonard Designs. I just watched a bunch of YouTube that evening. Wednesday was Ash Wednesday, and I'm not going to lie to you, I am not the most devout Catholic anymore. If my dad's watching this, sorry. But I did think it would be a good idea to give something up for Lent this year, and on my mind in particular was Instagram. So, because it was not sparking joy in this time. So I'm like, I'm gonna hide Instagram on my phone because I had some draft reels that I didn't want to lose by deleting the app. So I hid it on my phone, and I pretty much successfully made it all of Lent without using Instagram. I slipped on like one day because I was checking a notification or something, but other than that, I did well. I think it was good to reset and find a better way to use my social media. So that otter is from Leonard Designs. Then I went to work, that's from Sweet Ava's Paper. I graded papers, that's from Beneva Creations. And then I went to Target after work to pick up the multivitamins that I was telling you about, and also probably some snacks. I think I was kind of crabby this day. So then after work, I filmed some videos. So I have an icon from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. and a script from Leonard Designs. And then for reading the same book, I did the same combo of script and icon from those two shops to mark that. I think that one is Romeo and Juliet. And then I played hide and seek with Clover, my kitten. In previous videos, I've talked about how she likes to play hide and seek. She likes for me to go run and hide, and then she like comes and finds me. It's really cute. So that is from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. I put on my coffee themed press-on nails, which were super cute. You might have seen those in some previous videos. So I have a press-on nail sticker from Carly Plans, and then I just watched more tasting history at the end of the day. Thursday, my husband worked from home, so I used a little Sweet Ava's paper clip icon for that. I had cramps, unfortunately. That was also probably why I wasn't doing too well mentally this week, if I'm being honest. So I have a Shark Week Molly from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. I used two Beneva Creation Girls to mark both lesson planning and grading, because that's what my Thursdays looked like this semester. That was just a good routine for me, was to take care of things on that day of the week. And then I have another anxiety sticker from Sweet Ava's Paper. I'm not going to write anything in there. I forget what that was about, but just not having a good time. And then I marked reading my book again with another Itty Bitty Sticker Co. icon and another Leonard Designs script. That one is the Podyssey, as in the Odyssey. And then finally, I rounded out the night by watching more tasting history. Friday, the first thing I'm going to mark is that there's this gray cat, or at least I think it was the gray cat, that was walking along our fence line, and I call him like the Hey Ladies cat because he cries out. I think he smells my lady cats in the house. They're fixed, so, but he still comes around and cries and wants their attention. And both of them are like, go away, bro. But he's like, I'm going to keep trying. So anyway, I saw him on the fence this day, so I'm going to mark that with a paw print from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. And then I had a very uneventful dentist appointment this day, which is good. That's the type of dentist appointment we like. I haven't really had an eventful one in like almost 10 years. Like in 10 years, I feel like my teeth have been pretty good for a while. I've been taking better care of them too, so that probably helps. But I marked that with an icon from Caress Press, and I have no idea where this script is from. I just have it in my collection. So maybe we're finally back into a routine with the dentist. I say that and then I move again and I have to find a new dentist. So I keep doing that. Then I graded papers, so that's from Beneva Creations, and then I read more of my book, so I'm going to mark that with another Itty Bitty Sticker Co. book icon. And then we went out to one of our favorite dim sum restaurants for dinner, so I have a little dumpling from Wonton and a Million, because who else are you going to get your dumpling stickers from, honestly? Gotta get them from Wonton and a Million. And then I just have a really old date-night script. And then I finished out the evening by watching more tasting history. Sorry if I sound really tired. We got back from San Diego yesterday as of the day I'm recording this, and I was just taking care of catching up on work today and getting back into the swing of things, so I'm a bit tired. I also woke up super early today for no reason. Like, I did not have to be up at 5 a.m., but I was awake at 5 a.m. just because we've been on the go for the last 3 or 4 days. Saturday was International Women's Day, so I just marked that with this cute Polaroid from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. of like a group of, I don't know, gal pal cats. If any men in your life are like, when's International Men's Day, you can let them know it's in November and they can arrange their own events about it. Sorry if you're a guy, but I hear that complaint sometimes, and I'm like, you know, part of the reason that events happen like these is that women tend to organize them more often and actually do something for them. It's not always women, it's not always men, it's not always anybody of whatever, but like, it's not like there's not an International Men's Day, just saying. Moving on, I got to sample our friend's wedding menu this day because they had a tasting and they brought back some leftovers. So that was fun to like kind of preview their wedding dinner menu. Then I filmed some more videos, so I have another Sweet Ava's Paper planner sticker for that. I did laundry, so I have a sticker from Beneva Creation and a script from Leonard Designs. And then I finally finished reading The Moonstone by Wilkie Collins this day. It only took me like a whole year. Was not my favorite Wilkie Collins novel, especially towards the end. I mean, it got exciting, but I was like, what is happening? It was crazy. It's like the first detective novel written in English from the 19th century, and it's a wild ride, is all I'll say. And there's a lot of racist people in it too, so that's fun. Anyway, finally finished it, so I got to use a finished book script from Leonard Designs and another Little Kittens icon from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. And then at the end of the day, that movie marquee is from Caress Press, and the cat crying is from Sweet Ava's Paper. That was for marking Watching Flow. And again, it's a beautiful movie, and I think it has a really important message, and it's very creative as well with how they tell the story with all of the animals. And the main character is a black cat. The other like supporting characters are like this capybara and this lemur and who else? This giant bird. It's a really great movie. It just made me very sad and existential, but I can totally see why it won the Oscars that it did. Sunday, I marked the daylight savings time started with a sleeping in sticker from Sweet Ava's Paper. I started, technically it was a new book, but I had started reading it a while ago, The Parable of the Sower, so I marked that with a book icon from Corks and Corgs Co. I played with the cats, I watched Tasting History, and I played more hide and seek with Clover. So I have a bunch of cats from both Itty Bitty Sticker Co. and Sweet Ava's Paper at the bottom of Sunday. So that is this week that I almost didn't film. Here is what is left of both kits at this point. I think the only thing left from Scribble Prints Co. is like the 2 mini checklists. Yep, there they are. But I like how it turned out for the most part. I'm not sure about the glitter headers still, but that's everything written in. Oh my god, I flipped through the kit twice. I completely forgot that I did it. So, you get to see that twice. You're welcome, I guess. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed hearing about my very off week. I don't know. I hope you all are taking care of yourselves out there, because I think we all know we're all our own best advocates. Okay, I'm going to get off my soapbox now, and I'm going to let you go, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.